All right, good morning. My name is Ellen Kokenda. I am here to convene the staff hearing officer meeting for February 22nd, 2023. I'm going to start with preliminary matters, requests for continuances, withdrawals, postponements, or addition of X agenda items, and I do not have any. Any announcements and appeals? I do not have any announcements or appeals at this time. And now I'd like to open up public comment for members of the public who wish to speak on items not on today's agenda. So if anybody in the audience or attending via Zoom would like to speak on an item not on today's agenda, please raise your hand or check in with me now. I do not see anybody in the room, and do we have anybody via Zoom?
Thank you. We do not have any attendees in the Zoom.
Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and close public comment then and move on to our first item on the consent calendar. This is 923 Castillo Street. This is a request for a one-year time extension for the tentative subdivision map approved by the Planning Commission on February 13th, 2020. The approved map was set to expire on February 13th, 2023. However, the time extension request was received prior to the expiration date on January 17th, 2023. The approved project consists of the construction of 3 two-bedroom condominium units with 7 on-grade parking spaces on a vacant 9,040 square foot lot adjacent to Mission Creek. The proposed 3-unit condominium project would be 14.57 dwelling units per acre, which is consistent with the RM zone and the general plan designation of medium-high density residential. The discretionary applications approved for this project was a tentative subdivision map for a one-lot subdivision to create 3 residential condominium units. So I just want to, this is going to announce my decision that I read the staff report and understand what was approved in 2020, and I'm going to follow staff's recommendation to approve a one-year time extension to February 13th, 2024 for the tentative subdivision map. And this would be subject to the original conditions of the approval in resolution number 001-20. So that is my decision, and that one-year time extension has been approved. And we can go ahead and move on to the next, our first item on the regular agenda, which is 1731 Santa Barbara Street. We have Ms. Burkhardt here, who is the staff planner, and this is a project. This project is located on a 16,203 square foot lot, and it's currently developed with a 5,320 square foot single unit residence and detached 448 square foot two-car garage. The residence is a designated structure of merit, the Richard Suding House. Proposal for driveway removal, new exterior staircase, repair of an existing brick staircase, new exterior paint, new pool and spa, new pool deck with barbecue area, restoration of existing brick paths and patios, restoration of an existing brick columns, and low 30-inch brick wall, replacement of 3 gates, tree removals and replacements, new water-wise plantings, reduction and replacement of existing lawn, renovation of the irrigation system, and landscape lighting. So the discretionary applications under the jurisdiction of the staff hearing officer today are the front yard, front setback modifications to allow renovation of an as-built brick patio encroaching into the secondary front yard and setback along Islay Street. And an interior setback modification to allow reconfiguration of non-conforming stairs that encroach into the eastern interior setback. And just one last thing, the environmental analyst has determined that the project is exempt from further environmental review pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act Guidelines, Section 15301, existing facilities. All right, Ms. Burkhardt, whenever you're ready, please go ahead and present your project.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Kokinda. I just want to look at the existing site plan first, kind of orient you to the site and the conditions. It is at the southwest corner of Islay and Santa Barbara Streets. And as you can see, as a corner lot, it has 2 front yards and front yard setbacks. So you can see it's constrained by those setbacks here. These are the interior setbacks, and the majority of the home is located outside of those setbacks, so it takes up a lot of the space outside of setbacks. And additionally, the lot split that happened in 1975, was over here, so that is why these stairs here just butt into the site wall at the property line. These are the stairs that would require the interior modification, interior setback modification. And on the other side here, there's an existing as-built raised brick patio here. It's attached to a permitted raised brick patio here, and that both of which are encroaching into the front yard setback. Let's move to some photos of the site. It's ready for some updates. The project, I should mention, also has been to HLC for concept review. HLC was extremely supportive of the project in general. I would go so far as to say they praised the project. So here we can see the proposed site plan. The proposal is to build this as-built portion of the brick deck and stairs. There are many landscape and hardscape improvements, but these are the 2 that require the modification. So that's the proposed to be rebuilt deck. And then over here are the stairs that were encroaching into the setback. The proposal is to pull them out of the setback 3 feet and create a new landing, and then have stairs on either side to the north and south that make the stairs actually functional and safe for use. And it reduces that encroachment by 3 feet. I should also mention this deck is screened from view from Islay Street by a 8-foot tall hedge, which is non-conforming. And really the applicant's client is just trying to create some more outdoor usable space on site, which is constrained by setbacks and the residence itself. And staff finds that the improvements respect the American colonial revival style architecture of the structure of merit. That's using brick, which is used throughout the site. So yeah, staff is supportive of both modifications. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burkhart. And now if I could ask the applicant to introduce yourself and walk us through if you want to explain your requests and anything else you'd like to add.
Good morning. I'm Stacy Fawcett. I'm the landscape architect and representative for the client. I think Ms. Burkhart explained everything pretty clearly that, we're trying to find ways to work with the existing that makes it functional. It was a beautiful, architectural house that had just needs a lot of upgrading and restoration work, and our client is intending to do that. So we feel that the modifications are modest and add to the architectural integrity of the house and also help improve the neighborhood. So.
And does that conclude your presentation, or all right?
That's it, yeah.
Sounds good. Now I'd like to open it up for public comment. So if anyone is here and wishes to speak on this particular item, please come up to the podium, or do we have anybody via Zoom currently joining us?
Thank you. We do not have anyone in the Zoom, and we did not receive any written correspondence. For
Okay,
this.
thank you for that confirmation. Yes, I did not receive any written correspondence. Seeing no one, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment and move into questions. So I'd like to ask, could you just walk me through the from the lot line to the edge of the new patio?
Here,
Yes.
yes. So the lot line is.
Are you able to zoom in on that? Let me.
Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so the property line is here, this line. There's an existing fence and hedge at the property line, and then there's a concrete, the city sidewalk is out there. This is the existing patio. There's an existing patio in this location currently that is the one that needs repair. So where the hatch is the improved patio and staircases that lead to that.
And from the edge of that new patio, or the kind of the
From the property line to the edge of the patio is 11 feet, 0 inches.
okay,
The setback from the property line to the existing is 18 feet.
okay. Yes, I went out and I was wondering, do you have an existing building permit? Because I went out on site to do my site visit and there was work going on, so I
Yeah.
just wanted to.
I have an
you know,
existing permit for the interior work that's going on, and it was,
And they had started building over the brick area, or they had started building that deck up. So I did not.
I haven't been out there recently. I know it was already built up, and there was a lot of, it was kind of just a hoarding situation where there was stuff everywhere, so
I
they
kind
had
of
to.
gathered that. Okay.
They did a lot of clearing and cleaning, but I haven't been out there recently, so I don't know what.
Yeah, this was as of yesterday. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you for that. I just wanted to clarify. I think my my biggest concern is just to, if seeing that there was some work done yesterday, I just want to make sure that if I approve these plans, that it actually matches what the approval is and it's not encroaching anymore. And I couldn't tell based on the distance from where that where they were building or constructing kind of a new wall. So, but I can go ahead and transition and at least say that, on the whole, this is a really, what a wonderful gift to be able to, not only renovate the main residence, which is a separate project, but to be able to do these different improvements for this structure of merit, very much appreciated. Looking at, when I was on my site visit yesterday, I went around and saw the stairs and recognize how awkward that is from the lot split from the 70s and kind of the stairs to nowhere. So this is just a really rational decision to kind of improve that stairway and kind of make it go to both the front and backyard. So I can go ahead and improve that interior setback modification to alter that existing exterior staircase, really because it's very clear that it's securing an appropriate improvement to the lot, given the kind of the awkwardness of that lot split and that existing stairwell, and knowing that that site was constrained naturally with that lot split. So I think that it's going to improve the functionality, and completely agree with staff's assessment on that, and can make the findings related to the interior setback modification. For the front yard and front yard setback modification, this lot, I think we can recognize, because it is a corner lot, it's also constrained, and you've got 2 front setbacks, which are pretty significant. So to be able to have a usable, to create a space, an outdoor space that's usable and functional, I can go ahead and make the findings for the front yard and front setback modification. Again, that this deck is necessary to secure an appropriate improvement on the lot, and would provide, again, more uniformity with that development with the current site. And really, my biggest concern is I just want to make sure that I would add a condition just to verify in the building permit that the way that the deck is built is per plans to this particular set of plans. So that's my only condition. And yes, I really appreciate this, and I wish the owners well and updating their nice, beautiful home.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do want to acknowledge that my decision is, Jillian, do you mind switching screens, please? There is a 10-day appeal process, so anytime within 10 calendar days, someone could submit an appeal to my decision. That would go to the Planning Commission, and I just want to identify that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we can move on to the next project. Okay, we have item B, which is 2535 Crescent Avenue. This is a project located on a 7,005 square foot lot on the northeast corner of Crescent Ave and Treasure Drive, and is currently developed with a 2-story residential duplex. The proposed project consists of a conversion of existing non-habitable space to habitable space to increase the size of the lower unit to 879 square feet. All alterations would occur within the existing footprint of the building. The discretionary application under the jurisdiction of the staff hearing officer. Required for this project is a lot area modification to allow an increase in floor area in a residential unit on a lot that's non-conforming to density. The environmental analyst has determined that the project is exempt from further environmental review pursuant to CEQA Environmental Quality Act Guidelines, Section 15301, existing facilities. We have Ms. Kennedy here as the assigned case planner. If you'd like to walk us through your presentation, and then we'll follow up with the applicant. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. I'll get you switched over. Very good. Thank you, Ms. Kakinda. So the project address is 2535 Crescent Avenue, and the project site is located at the corner of Treasure Drive and Crescent Avenue. It's located about east of Las Positas Road and just north of Highway 101. The project site is surrounded by or is zoned single family or residential single unit, as are the other parcels in the vicinity. However, this site is developed with a 2-unit residential duplex, although it is in the single unit zone. So it is considered non-conforming to density because it has 2 units instead of 1 on that zone. So I'll show you some photographs of the site. So here we have, I'll point out a few of these. This is the corner, so you're looking from Treasure Drive towards the existing garage, 2-car garage. and the unit here, and this is the unit that we are reviewing today. So it's a 2-unit duplex, as I said. To the right here is going around the corner, up the hill. This building is set into the hill. And then as you go further up the hill, you'll see that there's some fencing along here. There's a trellis area going further up the hill. Again, you can't see the unit very well, but there's a fence here, and then there's a little like driveway parking area in this area. So what I'd like to do is switch to the elevations to show you a little bit more of what the units look like. So this would be from Crescent Avenue. So down here would be the 2 parking spaces parked underneath. This is the lower unit that we're talking about today, and there's another upper unit that's already been remodeled. So we're talking about this lower unit. Again, looking from the adjacent property, this is the unit that we're talking about here. So let's switch over. Let's see. So this involves a lower unit. It was originally permitted as a studio back in 1955. Subsequently, there were some alterations made to create a bedroom, so it was turned into a 1-bedroom unit, and then the current proposal is to remodel this unit to turn it into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit. So this would involve the conversion of additional non-habitable space. So the previous unpermitted conversion was done, and now they want to convert the additional non-habitable space. So this would create a unit. Go to another slide here. So over here on the right, we're talking about this area being converted to create this new 2-bedroom unit. So it would end up being converted from a 539 square foot permitted unit to a 879 square foot unit here with 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms. Since the property is non-conforming to density, the mechanism to allow them to add this square footage is through a lot area modification. So staff is supportive of this lot area modification for a few reasons. It would not increase the density. It would remain as 2 units. It would not increase the footprint of the property or the project. This area is essentially, it's called crawl space. It's really high, but it's this non-habitable space that's been turned into habitable space, and then some additional area done the same. So it's all within the footprint of the building. And it would not increase the nonconformity of other aspects of the property. It does have only 2 parking spaces, so that's nonconforming. And the setbacks, the unit does encroach into one of the front setbacks, but a modification would be required for that. Staff is also in support of this project. Switch again to the site plan here. So here we have Treasure Drive here in Crescent Avenue. Here's the unit we're talking about. So what they're also doing is removing some unpermitted structures here. There's this trellis porch area, which will be removed out of the front setback. There are a number of fences here along, not just in the setback, but also in the right-of-way area. As you can see the property line here, some structures in the right-of-way, removing up here some fencing within the front setback. Project also involves the removal of this porch, covered porch area in this area. As part of this unit, they are removing that door, so that's no longer needed. And then, let's see. So I'll switch to the elevations again. As I said, most of the work is all interior within the footprint, but there are a couple of changes to the exterior. They'll be removing 2 doors here and a window, and then just adding 2 new windows to assist with that remodel of the interior. So staff recommends approval of this lot area modification based on the findings that are in the staff report, which are reflected in the reasons that I gave that staff is in support of this, and then also the findings for the environmental review. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. And now I'd like to invite the applicants to please introduce yourself, and if you wish to walk me through your project or any rationale for kind of how you came to this, anything you'd like to add.
Sure. Staff hearing officer, I'm Jerry Rochi. I'm the architect for the project. This is Joe Cooper. He and his daughters are the owners for the project. I'll just go ahead and read what we wrote here. This application is a request to lot area density modification to allow our clients to add 196 square feet and convert 144 square feet of storage to habitable living space to the lower unit. Ms. Kennedy did a great job presenting, so I might repeat a little bit of what she said, but
That's totally fine. I think it's hard. You don't really coordinate between the two of you to know what she's going to do. So don't, if you had something to prepare, you're fine.
Okay. So anyway, we're adding to the lower living space, which is a duplex located in the RS 7.5 zone, which is a non-conforming to density. This application is to increase the size of the smaller unit to become a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit, which will basically replicate the larger unit upstairs while still maintaining the original footprint of the building. In 1955, there was a 144 square foot building permit for a storage room, which is permitted in the crawl space adjacent to the lower unit. This room has an egress window and is full height. So let me switch to the page 10. Let's see. This one right here. So this is all crawl space, which was converted in 1955, and we are. Let's see. At some point prior to 2021, when Joe's family acquired the property, the storage space was converted into a bedroom through the addition of an interior door. The general idea of our proposal is to convert the storage and additional crawl space into 2 bedrooms. You can see that over in this slide here. The net changes to the exterior of the building is to add 2 windows by eliminating 2 doors and 1 window. All of these exterior changes will occur on the north side of the building, so they're all on this side of the building where there is excessive setbacks. And it's basically hidden from street view. That whole side is hidden from street view. We completed the pre-application review process. The response was that staff would be in support of the modification because of the project. It would not increase the density of the lot. It would still remain 2 units. It would not increase the footprint as well. And additional considerations might be that there are many multifamily residential projects in this single-family zoning property area, from all the way up to Samarkand.
And does that conclude your
That
presentation?
concludes.
All right, good deal. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to open it up to public comment. I do have one. I will just share with anybody via Zoom. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon. Jillian, do we even have anybody right now? Okay, then I'm going to move to public comment. If I have Charlene Nielsen, if you'd like to come up and speak at the podium, you'll have 2 minutes. And if you could speak into the mic, that will help our recording.
Okay. I'm just curious. There isn't anything that's going to be added on the outside of the building at all? No. Okay, so where you've been just taking out all the the plants, the tolerant plants, that's still going to stay landscaped?
And why don't you direct the question or just
Oh.
comments to me, and then I can always follow up and ask them to do that. Yeah,
okay.
it's confusing.
Yeah.
If-
Yeah, so that's what I was curious of, if the building was going to be extended past its current size.
Okay. And then you mentioned something about the catalpa plant or the plantings.
Yes, if he was going to keep, there were all kinds of like succulents and tolerant, weather-tolerant plants that he's kind of been weeding through. If he's just going to replant there, and no construction will be done in that section.
Got it. Okay. And do you have anything else you wish to add? It's your time.
I do, but whether or not it pertains to this, it's in regards to painting a portion of a curb red.
Keep going.
It's like,
This is your
okay,
time.
he's got his driveway, then there's a curb, and then there's the next duplex with the driveway. That little curb in between there would be fantastic if we could have it painted red. Because when there's vehicles parked there, it's very difficult to continually turn right because Treasure Drive is quite small and you've got cars parked on the left and the right-hand side in various portions there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
So seeing no one else, I didn't receive any other public comment, and that was the last one and only speaker slip. So I'm going to go ahead and transition. I'm going to close public comment on this item and then come back to you. So let's see. One thing, and maybe you could just respond. To Ms. Nielsen, I'm the staff hearing officer. My purview is very limited to the lot area modification, but this project does require design review. And so they're subject to design review at the Single Family Design Board, and they'll look at plantings and different landscape, but maybe you could respond to the questions about the landscaping. Again, not in my purview, but it might be helpful for your neighbor.
Sure, I'll let Joe talk about that.
Yeah. So basically, the yard had gotten a little bit overgrown, so I just cut back some of the stuff. So, I mean, I'm still planning on having the succulents. I think you're referring to the agaves and stuff like that, yeah. So I'm still planning on doing that, basically. So there'll be nice plantings and stuff like that.
Great. And then after this particular meeting, we'll have to go back to the Single Family Design Board, and who will review a landscape plan, different plans for landscaping generally.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not really planning on doing much with the landscaping because, like, I just took out some agaves. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about that parking spot. Those tenants who used to park there are no longer there. So, to me, it doesn't seem like a parking spot. Most of the time, there's a car like over there. But
And
it's
just
parked.
another clarification that that is not in my purview either. Generally, that's really a transportation, just a response to public comment that that's really for transportation and traffic engineering. And so if there's a concern about sight lines, you can always contact transportation and they can look into that and verify if there's a safety hazard there. So thank you for your questions. And transitioning back, I do want to, I don't have many questions. This is a pretty straightforward project. And I really appreciate this is a very creative way to make a larger unit. And I think that overall it's kind of a win. I mean, you had already an approved studio unit. I know that over time that 500 plus square feet is pretty limited. But the fact that you're not increasing the density or the footprint of the building, it's really just staying within the current confines of the development is a win. So I am very supportive of this lot area modification, and I agree with staff's assessment. So I can make, as a staff hearing officer, I can say that the lot area modification is consistent with the general purposes of the zoning ordinance regarding the residential uses, and this particular modification is necessary to secure an appropriate improvement on the lot. Here we have, I think going from 500 to 800 plus square feet, making it a 2-bedroom unit, keeping within the same footprint is a huge win, makes something more livable, provides a little extra housing, kind of housing more people. So very much appreciated. And again, this will also improve your existing home. So that's also a win. So thank you very much there. So yes, this is really, it doesn't increase the density. The lot's still going to remain 2 units, and it doesn't increase the nonconformity in any other way. So I'm going to go ahead and make those findings, as well as the environmental review, that this project does qualify for a categorical exemption pursuant to the CEQA guidelines 15301, existing facilities. And I don't have any other conditions to add. I just, that is my decision, and I wish you well on going back to Single Family Design Board. I do want to acknowledge that there is a 10-day appeal process. So anyone can appeal my decision within 10 calendar days if they see fit. And I just need to make sure to announce that, and thank you very much. And now I can go ahead and, I think that's the last item for today, so I'm going to go ahead and conclude, adjourn the meeting for February 22nd, 2023.